To make a bar graph, start by selecting the button Draw tool and draw a rectangle like this. Now this time in the General States tab, we'll select Bar Graph as the button type. Once I do that, we'll now see the off-state color on the top and the on-state color on the bottom. The bar graph will use these colors in different proportions to represent the current level value. The way I drew my bar graph, I want the bar graph to fill from left to right, not bottom to top. I can change that by selecting Value Direction and making it horizontal. In the States tab, we'll use a rounded border for all states. I'll use Circle 35 this time, and change its color to something that makes it stand out from the background. Just like the general button we made in the previous tutorial, we'll edit our fill colors separately for the on and off states. In my case, I want my off state color to blend into this graphic a bit, and my on state will be a dark aqua to keep consistent with my color scheme. Looking good. Now I'll move to the Programming tab. Notice something different? Since this is a bar graph, there's now a place to enter a level port in code. We'll get into levels much later, so I'm going to leave the level port and level code fields alone for right now. The level function refers to how the bar graph responds to touch. Display only can only be changed through Netlink's code and ignores touch. Drag changes the value of the bar graph as you slide your finger across it. Active will change the value as you slide your finger across it too, but also instantly jumps to wherever you put your finger. If you select centering for either one, the bar graph returns to the midpoint value when you lift your finger. Since this bar graph is going to be used for volume control, let's set it to drag. If we make it active, then the volume could accidentally jump to a really high level and blow the speakers. Active would be best used for lights, shades, or temperature settings, since having them jump to a high setting wouldn't typically hurt anything. I can also specify a range for this level. This will be the actual range that will be used with your code, and it's best to make it match the range of whatever you're controlling and avoid having to do fancy math conversions, since the default is 0 to 255. If this was a volume control on something like a DSP, I might use -80 for the low and 12 for the high. Let's use it as a percentage, so in that case the range would be 0 for the range low and 100 for the range high. So there's your basic bar graph. If we want to be really slick, we can add some text to it that will show what the current value is. To do this, let's go back to the States tab. Select All States and change the font and size. To keep consistent, I'm going to use Helvetica again with a 16-point size. Now when we go to enter text, there are special formatting codes we can use to show the current level value in its raw state or as a percentage. To find these formatting codes, click on Help in the menu bar and then click Contents. On the left side of this window, select the Index tab and type Formatting in the search window. You should see a list of some available formatting codes. Since our bar graph is already a range of 0 to 100, we can use either $V or $P. If our range was something else like -80 to +12, then $P will automatically convert the raw value into a percentage. Going back to the text field of our bar graph, I'm going to type volume $P % and hit enter. Now my bar graph on the page says volume 50%. And during runtime, this value will change whenever the bar graph's value changes, and I didn't have to write any Netlink's code to do it. Now you know how to make a bar graph. In the next tutorial, we'll add some pop-up pages to our panel design.